How you going? Marty Fox from WHITEFOX. Now here's the deal. I'm standing here with Pat Cummings, owner of AP Shutters, who I've known for many years through the flips that I've done with my wife. We've probably done about 9 or so jobs together, probably met about 7-8 years ago through a mutual friend. So welcome, Pat. And again, we're talking to people that have interesting property backgrounds that absolutely have property in their DNA, and Pat definitely is one of those people. So Pat, you studied property and construction at university and with the hopes of getting into property development, but you then chose to go into business with your parents early on. Why did that happen, and tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, thanks for having us first of all, Marty. Mate, I think that I was always enticed and drawn towards property from an early age, and that's what sort of led me to get into the university degree property and construction at Melbourne Uni. But whilst I was there, I actually started working with mum and dad in their business, which was Shades in Hawthorn. While I was there, I was learning a lot about the business, and I probably started to gain an appreciation for what it means to have your own small business and what it means to run your business, and the really clear correlation between input and output. Because I saw mum and dad going to work every day and working their asses off and getting a real reward for it. So I also appreciated the flexibility of running your own business. So although I did sort of complete my degree and did okay with it, as soon as I did complete it, I decided to get back into the family business full time. And yeah, certainly haven't looked back, and I've absolutely loved every bit of it. So,
and I'm sure you going into that business and bringing that new generation through of innovation and the way that business is done and so forth, mixing the old school with the new school, that would have really helped shape the business with where it was going.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. So I should say as well, it's not just me; it's my brother Andrew as well, who also started the business with me, and we sort of brought new life and blood into it. So Dad had operated the business at the point for close to 25 years with mum as well. And yeah, a lot of wisdom, a lot of product knowledge, and a lot of business nous, but I think that maybe lacking a bit of energy towards the back end of his career. So he's now out of the business. So Andrew and I run it entirely ourselves now. And I think that without us, Dad probably would have sold the business 5, 6, 7 years ago. So yeah, definitely bringing that new energy and kind of a different approach and a different aspect to the business. Yeah, it really worked well. And I've got to say, like you say, it was the mix of the young energy and ideas combined with what Dad had built, which is that solid backbone. Yeah, 100%. So kind of worked well.
How good's that? And in terms of property investing, so I know that you bought your first property when you were 22. Tell us a little about where it was, how you did it, and why you really just wanted to step into the market at such a young age.
Probably one of the driving factors is the fact that I've got a high school sweetheart in Marta. So Marta and I have we've been married for about 7 years or so now. We've been together since I was maybe 17 and Marta was about 16. So we've sort of grown up together, and it got to that point where we're like, we probably need to get out of the house now. We need to start living our own life. And I guess we're in a fortunate enough position that I had been running the business for a while, so had a bit of money behind us. We sort of thought, I could rent, could get involved with some friends and maybe move out. But to be honest, I got a bit of a crisp backhand when I suggested I might move out with some of the boys. Didn't really last for long, that idea. So then Martha and I sort of thought, let's go out and do our own thing. And then thought, if we're going to rent, let's as I say, rent money, dead money. Let's try and get into the market. So with the help again of mum and dad, both financially but also with a bit of support, helping us understand the market and getting around, and sort of, Dad was great. Whenever I saw a spot, he'd come out and have a look and say, yay or nay, I think it's good for this reason, bad for that reason. And after we did a bit of research over maybe 6 or 8 months or so, we sort of dove in and bought a place in Paran, just down in Donald Street. It's the best thing we ever did. Absolutely loved living there. And
I think the key takeaway things with that is that you were consistent with your work. You had a vision. Rent money is dead money, and you had good sound advice. And the other thing being that you researched. So I think 3 really key takeaways from that is you knew what you wanted, you were committed, you were consistent, you had the right advice, and you researched. And if you don't have those things, investing in any sort of sector is pretty dangerous. So
yeah.
And do you still have the property in Donald Street, or
we don't? No, we don't have the property. We actually 4 or so years ago I should wind back a little bit. So Marta and I now have 2 kids. So we've got a 5.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old. So where we were was a 2-bedroom place. Excellent, absolutely loved it when it was the three of us, when we had our first child, Olympia. Then we had Zara, and Zara's an energetic little bunny, so she wasn't, the sort of four walls seemed to come in on us a little bit at Donald Street. So we started to think about, what our next move would be. And yeah, sort of started looking around and found another place just down the road in South Yarra. And then I did consider hanging on to Donald Street, but I've got to say a good friend of mine at the time, by the name of Marty Fox, actually said to me, mate, flick it, get rid of it. Guarantee you won't regret it. I know you've got an emotional attachment to it at the moment, but as soon as you're out of there, you'll forget all about it. So that was some great advice. I do thank you for that, because we ended up selling the property and doing really well out of it. So, and then it kind of gave us a bit of a nest egg to kind of then renovate our new place. So yeah.
And I remember that point in time, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't sell the property for you, which was fine because you had that relationship with somebody else prior, which was always a good thing to stick to, your word with people, in business especially. But I remember you saying, should I actually hold this? And we get this all the time with clients, should we hold the property and lease it out and then buy the next one? And I always think that if you alleviate your principal place of residence and really catch up, we're not getting those crazy, spikes in growth that, people were getting in the last 10, 15, 20 years. And until you sort of get to that nest egg ability to start collecting investment properties now, it's actually hard to service that type of debt, which, as you've seen, it's been the right decision to alleviate the asset.
Definitely, yeah.
So with AP Shutters and your business partner, I did do some research that he was maybe once a chef.
He certainly was, yeah, very good chef.
And now you're running around cooking up quite a lot of deals and making some good connections in the real estate industry with, the delivery and the service that you offer with what you do. Tell us a little bit more about what makes AP Shutters just that little bit different. Which I know the answers, but maybe not everyone does.
I think what makes us different is just our drive and our energy. Andrew and I we love what we do. Every day we go to work enthused, and we want to constantly build the business, give it every opportunity to grow. We love making connections, and not purely from a networking perspective or an unauthentic perspective. We just enjoy meeting people. Like, I enjoy meeting people like yourself, and then you'll introduce me to another guy who's a builder, and then I'll go do some work with the builder, and then on his building site I'll meet an architect. Like, I love that kind of like really organic growth and network. But I think, going back to the actual question in regards to what makes us different, I think it's just we've got a passion. We like what we do. We love what we do, and we care about outcome. We don't just kind of do the deal, get the deposit and ship the job off. We see it through. We'll be, front and center with the project, whether it be, a couple of roller lines and Mrs. Smith around the corner, or, a commercial job for 300 apartments. Like, we're in it and we're involved.
That's what I've always found. You've done 7 or 8 jobs for us now, personally, and also with WHITEFOX, but whether it's literally one roller blind that I might need, or an entire fit out, or if it's a development which we've given you the referral for to go in and meet the builders and so forth, it's always this exact same level of energy and passion, and no job's too big or too small. It's always taken on with really open eyes and
Yeah, no, definitely,
and a good head of hair.
I think it's really important not to. I mean, it's great to progress and start to work in these big homes and nice developments. But you've got to remember what got you there, and what got us there is the smaller jobs, and the jobs that may not be super exciting, but they're bread and butter jobs, and we still value those clients, and we still value those jobs, and it's really important to continue to service them, because like I said, they're the ones that have been the backbone of the business. So
now more back onto the property side, because again, it's all about talking to people that are in the property game or in the property peripheral that actually love it and invest and do really cool things. So your new house, which I know intimately, is absolutely stunning, beautiful double fronted Victorian in Tivoli Road, South Yarra. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you bought it, what you're doing to it, and what the dreams are moving forward?
So I mean, I guess it is a bit of an interesting story. I'm in the car, probably like you, 8 hours of the day driving around, and I always sort of got my eyes open looking at bits and pieces, and happened to be driving down Tivoli Road and saw a post stuck in the ground with a forthcoming auction sign. I could barely see it amongst all the rubble and the overgrown garden, but managed to spy it there. And as soon as I saw it, I sort of thought, this could be a great opportunity, because we knew what we wanted. We wanted something in a city. We wanted something with a bit of land and a bit of an opportunity to expand, but we just didn't have the money to buy a fully renovated property on a decent block of land. So I sort of thought, this could be a really great opportunity. So I got on the phone and started harassing the agent. And look, to be honest, the stars just aligned. I mean, it turned out the agent, he was a good bloke, he was happy to help. The vendor was in a position where he wanted to get rid of the property. Originally, he was going to wait till after Easter and then put it on the market and go through the arduous process. But he sort of thought, if we can do a deal here, then it could be beneficial for all of us.
Off market,
yeah. So got in early. So through the agent, obviously negotiated with the vendor, and we eventually came to a price that I was certainly very happy with, and they accepted. So yeah, it worked out really well. And then with then obviously we went on to sell Donald Street and sort of did pretty well there, and probably did a bit better than we expected, which gave us a bit of money to tip back into the property. So we renovated the house for about maybe 4 months or so before we moved in, which, to be honest, it needed to be done because it was an absolute dive. Like the floors were caving in. Like we literally stripped it back to bare bones, just a raw brick, ripped the floors out, everything right back to dirt on the ground and brick walls. So yeah, spent about 4 months renovating it, and now it's beautiful. So we decided, with the money we had, we decided we could either renovate the entire property at a mediocre level, or we sort of do it in bits and pieces. So we thought, let's start with the old part of the house, the 1890s Victorian part of the house, and let's do it perfectly. So we took all the money into making that great. Out the back, it's an absolute dive. Like it's a bit of a shambles.
But it's a home that you see yourself in for the next 10, 15, 20 odd years. And that's what I love about you. You don't do anything in halves. And I think that's a big personality trait, and it carries through from both your professional work into your private life, even into your relationship, childhood sweetheart, the renovation. You're willing to stage things out. And I think we're in that sort of mindset now, or the world is, where everyone just wants everything now, but you need a plan for things. And if you plan and you actually take your time and you're consistent over that long period of time, you will end up getting everything that you want in time, and it's exactly to the standard that you want. So yeah, I think it's great what you've done, and I admire the fact that you know how to stage these goals that you want to achieve in nice incremental achievable steps to end up with the ultimate goal. I think a lot of people in property need to understand that you literally can't have it all, but if you slowly chip away and the planets do align what you need a little bit of luck in property, it can all come together. Okay. So from an investment perspective, what's some advice that you give to your kids, or give to any sort of person that's out there that actually wants to jump into the market that just thinks it's all too hard? You need to start somewhere. What would you say to these people?
What would I say? It's a difficult question, because I think you can very easily come across as arrogant when you sort of say to someone, just dive in, just get into it, because I know that everyone may not have the same opportunity, or same opportunity as I did have. But I think that one thing that's really consistent over the last 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 years, everyone you speak to, I should have bought back then, would have been great, would have been a great investment to buy back then. I think you just got to dive in. You've just got to do it, because it's not going to get any better. The market's going to continue to rise, I think. The amount of friends and family that I've seen dive into the property market, at point X, and then 1 year on, they're still looking and stuff around to buy, then the market's increased by another 6, 7, 8%, and they end up spending the same amount of money and getting something less. So I think my advice is just get in as early as you can, because at the end of the day, particularly in Melbourne, it's a great place. It's a beautiful place to live. In the inner eastern suburbs, even more so. I mean, you'd expect that the demand is going to continue to increase. So I think you just got to do it as soon as you can.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And for you, your property goals, I think we know that you're going to be staying put for a while because you've got a few stages to go. What about AP shutters? What are some of your goals for the next sort of year or two? What would you like to see happen?
Good question. We certainly don't have any dramatic plans. I think we just keep chipping away. So Andrew and I have always been at the belief that we want to grow organically. We don't want to employ some business development manager and throw everything at it and try and sort of create this big burst of energy that we can't sustain. For us, it's about being front and center, having our faces at the core of the business, and just growing organically and slowly but steadily. And that's what we have done over the last 10 years. We had our 10th birthday last year. So we've done over the last 10 years, and it's been a success so far. So we're just continuing that same trajectory.
And finally, when it comes to property, what seals the deal?
What seals the deal for me in a property itself? For me, it's all about location. I mean, I know that's the biggest property cliche you might have ever heard. I'm big into location. So I think you can work with a property, you can make it what you want it to be, but you can never change the location. So that's what seals the deal for me.
Mate, thanks so much for giving us your insights. As I said from the beginning, I've known Pat for many years, and he's always been amazing to work with. I love the fact that he invests and he believes, and he's a planner, and I love people that know how to plan towards the goal that they want to achieve, building a beautiful family, and yeah, mate, admire you in this space. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Marty. Cheers.